Welcome back on another episode of NBA 2K14. And you know the last episode, you saw the first game earlier as the Golden State Warriors crush and dominate against the Chicago Bulls by 24 points margin, 127 to 93, as Stephen Curry got 28 points with 9 assists, Klay Thompson got 21 points, Derrick Rose got 17 points, and Tony Snell and Marcus Speech share with 14 points this one. As we wrap up the month of the May and second game of February 6th doubleheader, we're off the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, featuring the Battle of the Black Team, featuring Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili of the San Antonio Spurs, take on Darren Williams, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett of the Brooklyn Nets. That will be as well the rematch of the 2003 NBA Finals where the Spurs beat the Nets in 6 games. And now in this one, it's the real life style. It's going to be the battle between the black and white. For this game, the Spurs going to use the black and the Nets going to use the white. And that'll do it for now. This is Andrei and we'll be right back after this. Enjoy the video here in Brooklyn, New York at the Barclays Center. Anyways, let's get started. Enjoy the video, and now we are sending over to Kevin Harlan here in Brooklyn. Alright, let's get started. Enjoy here in Brooklyn. Now, let's get started. Here we go.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Damon Bruce, and this is the NBA on 2K Sports. Thursday night in the NBA. It's the San Antonio Spurs going up against the Brooklyn Nets. And without any further ado, let's head to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew at the arena. I'll be back at halftime.
Welcome to 2K Sports for another edition of NBA Basketball. This is Kevin Harlan along with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. Doris Burke will be reporting from the sidelines. A quick check now at the starting five for both teams. And breaking down this game, let's now take a look here at Paul Pierce.
You know, as much as anybody in the league, Pierce is able to hit the tough contested shots. And I think that's because of his strength and his skill level and his ability to knock defenders off balance before rising up and making his jump shot.
You know, you said earlier the big buckets down the stretch. Pierce always ready to do that. In the deciding moments of a game, that's when he really separates himself and deserves the moniker, the truth.
The Brooklyn Nets, they want to turn the season series around as they lost their last matchup against the San Antonio Spurs.
And I think the sort of issues they had on defense, in part at least, was a bigger factor. Really compounded, I think, because it was on the road. You have to be sharper when you go out and play as a visitor.
Yeah, everything has to be tight. You can't be loose in any aspect of your game. You're fighting against the crowd and the opponent. You've got to be tougher mentally and physically if you're going to win on the road.
Well, head coach Jason Kidd. That's a phrase I didn't expect to hear this quickly, but Kidd wasted no time. Only a matter of weeks after he announced his retirement as a player, he was named the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. And it's going to be interesting to see the transition. Kidd, obviously, great basketball IQ, so well respected as a person in the league. I think it's just a matter of time before he really finds his footing and becomes an excellent coach.
That is good.
I'll tell you what, the defenders didn't even get a sniff of him on that move to the hoop.
A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, Kevin, Greg Popovich had a few moments to share with me. He talked about how much respect he has for Kevin Garnett, saying he's just the ultimate competitor. He's unselfish, plays for his teammates, and we've got to really have our motor revving and play with a lot of intensity. We cannot let him outwork us. Kevin, look for a real physical game.
Thanks, Doris. And back to Coach Jason Kidd, Clark, a rookie at the coaching profession, but one of the most intelligent, respected point guards over his 19 years in the NBA.
Yeah, always respected as a leader, and his basketball IQ off the charts. So I think he's one of the few guys that can go right from playing to being a successful head coach.
Another shot, and again, it's Tim Duncan.
He's such a well-rounded offensive player. He's got a little bit of everything.
And Pierce, here we go. back to Williams. Pulls up, high post. Another one falls for Brooklyn.
How about this? They're shooting 80% so far. I know it's early, but offensively, they look great. Now, this is the second season for the Nets here in Brooklyn. It's amazing how quickly they've made themselves a part of this community. But they've tried to capture some of that history. From sports in the past. In fact, they have the flagpole from the old Ebbets Field right outside the Barclays Center. Kind of a cool historical connection.
Ginobili against Johnson. Parker outside. Gets the bucket. Parker's got 5 points so far.
That's like a layup for him. He's just wide open out there.
Johnson attacking. And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession. And for the Nets, you notice that unlike most teams with their jerseys, whether they're on the road or at home, it's Brooklyn across their chest.
I think that represents them representing the borough, Kevin, and looking to establish a new identity. And even if you aren't a big Nets fan, for Brooklynites, it's easy to throw on a black and white sweater or jersey with Brooklyn across the front of it.
It's Jackson with the drive, and he goes in for the dunk.
Fellas, that two-hand monster slam was vicious.
I don't think there was anyone, and I mean anyone, that could have stopped him on that one.
I'm glad they didn't try. You don't want anybody getting hurt out here.
Here is Livingston, following the bucket by the Spurs. And it's slammed in by Garnett.
Really good awareness right there on the assist.
Well, it was the San Antonio Spurs in their last game, a loss to the Wizards.
Yeah, they really struggled to put points on the board throughout that game, guys. In terms of their offense, nothing seemed to go right.
And once they started spiraling downward, there was no getting out of it, Steve. Their scoring just went dry.
Already it's February. Hard to believe. Let's see how the West is matching up. Take a look at the Rockets, earning the first place position with a terrific record. And we've seen them perform splendidly pretty much all season long so far, and they're definitely the team to beat. And, of course, San Antonio. They're sitting in third place.
For the Spurs, they've gotten themselves into exactly the position they wanted to be in at this point in the season. And I can't say that I'm all that surprised by it.
No, I'm not either, Clark. This is a talented team. Coming into the year, I think everybody expected them to be pretty strong. And to this point, I mean, they've done exactly what they wanted to do. Well, this is a very good basketball team. Seems like guarding him on the perimeter is not a priority for this defense, but it will become one if he continues to knock them down.
Karolinko, guarded by Jackson. Karolinko kicks to Livingston. Kicks it out to Terry. Three-pointer. That drops and it comes off the assist from Livingston.
How about that? They respond to a three-pointer with a quick three of their own.
Yeah, terrific. Great back-and-forth sequence right there.
The drive by Jackson. The feed to Diao. Ellinelli. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. Pocket six. From deep. And again, it's San Antonio with a three.
The D with very little pressure on their perimeter shooters. 3 of the last 5 baskets they've allowed have been of the three-point variety.
Yeah, and unless they make some rotations and closeouts defensively, there's more to come, Clark.
Looking at the last game for the Brooklyn Nets, it was a loss to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, they hung in there for a long time in that game, just giving themselves a chance to win at the end. But when it mattered the most, they stumbled.
Yeah, and those are the hardest losses to stomach, guys. I mean, when you play well throughout the game and then get derailed by a few missed opportunities down the stretch, that's painful.
Livingston kicks to Karolinko.
Tough break for the defense. He took the heat and drew the whistle.
Yep, but when you get there late, that's what happens.
It's his first trip to the line. The Spurs making a switch here. And both free throws good for Karolinko.
Boy, that was solid. I tell you, he's one of the best there is up there at the foul line.
Here's McGrady. And again, it's San Antonio with a three.
Boy, this game is off to a terrific start.
No doubt, on both sides, high-octane offense.
Plenty of offense in this closely contested first quarter of play. Spurs lead by 3. And we'll get things started in the second quarter when we return.
Next Tuesday, February 11th, Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder go up against Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers. It's Western Conference action. Be there.
And the second quarter getting underway. No team gaining an edge so far. Let's quickly check out the scoring breakdown here for the Spurs.
Boy, the three-point shot has really been dropping for him early on.
Yeah, their passing has been terrific too. Clark, we're seeing a lot of assists, really moving, kind of flow offensively. I like what I see.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor. All fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. On the court for San Antonio. Down low, it's Duncan and Splitter. Tracy McGrady is out there with Tony Parker. And it's Leonard in at the 3 slot. Here's Duncan, and he buries that one, drilling the rim on the way down. Duncan's got his 3rd bucket of the night.
You know, the Spurs really have a cohesive culture, and part of that is something that Greg Popovich has been able to do, and that's being able to join guys together that normally might not hang out. For instance, you had Matt Bonner taking Steven Jackson out to a Coldplay concert last season. One way to help guys get to know each other off the court, and it helps them on the court.
And we're about a minute into the second quarter of play. It's good. Great play set up by T-Mac, Tracy McGrady. 8 points for Tim Duncan. And back to Popovich and the Spurs, he really makes a point of getting to know his players and have them get
Man, he got fans.
maybe trying to give them the momentum boost they need to break this game open.
And I like that. Some coaches might want to see just a sure-handed lay-in, but I say put as much as you can on the finish and get your teammates going.
And the Spurs making a change here. San Antonio leading. It's off to Charlotte for them after this game as they take on the Bobcats.
Well, you know the fans out in Charlotte are desperately hoping for a win there.
Parker dishes to Ginobili. And you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it 3.
You know, guys, I would call that methodical but explosive. You know, he waits for the opportunity and then boom, right to the rack.
Well, Ginobili has a knack for taking charges defensively, great anticipation skills, and he's really quick. He's a phenomenal athlete. So he beats his player to the spot, and then he's willing to take the contact.
But that's just part of the larger picture for Manu. I mean, he is just a winner on the basketball court, a terrific competitor. He does everything he can to help his team win and to give him an edge. Taking a charge, running down loose balls, hitting clutch shots. Whatever you need, he'll try to give it to you.
Parker passes to Duncan. Working on Garnett. Duncan down low. Guarded by Garnett. And Duncan gets it to go in. Duncan's got 10.
It took him a little while to get into the flow of this game, but now he's definitely found his stride and rhythm. One thing I think has helped extend Tim Duncan's peak effectiveness, you know, he was dealing with knee issues recently, but he committed to losing weight and slimmed down by over 25 pounds to take away some of that wear and tear on his joints. And over the last couple of seasons, it certainly seems to have revitalized it.
And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession. Well, some of the numbers NBA wingmen have been putting up from the field this season are truly impressive. Have a look at the top shooters among them. In the third spot, Kawhi Leonard.
And that tells you about those players' ability to slash through the defense and get to the hoop effectively, because you have to be getting a lot of layups to have that kind of shooting percentage.
You also have to have an excellent outside shot, and all of them do it. Small forward, you have to be reliable from the perimeter as well.
And Clark, you mentioned Duncan swimming down. Steve, I guess he did it swimming in the offseason.
Well, he was a swimmer growing up in the Virgin Islands. Right. That was his first sport before he picked up basketball. And I think you can see how it's impacted his strength and his ability to engage that core and really last through these long NBA seasons. He's slimmed down, but he's stayed strong. And I think swimming has played a big role there.
Here's with the screen on Leonard. And Williams, here we go. Johnson kicks to Williams. Back to Johnson. Shot clock at 6. That's blocked. Johnson against Leonard. Here's Ginobili. Another one falls for San Antonio.
Well, I tell you what, Greg Popovich, a really impressive leader for the Spurs. He's able to keep all of his players locked into what's best for the team. Has a military background, played basketball and studied at the Air Force Academy before serving 5 years in the Air Force. And some of the leadership that he brings to his position was learned from his past experiences.
The Spurs making a switch here. Matt Bonner, he's checked in for Splitter. Diaw comes in for Tim Duncan. Daniel Green, he's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. It's Mills in for Tony Parker. Reggie Evans, he's checked in for Brooklyn. Diaw with the steal. And it's out of bounds. The Nets will take it the other way. Already it's February. Let's see how the East is matching up. Taking a look at Miami. And not a surprise, really, to see them sitting there in that #1 spot in the conference. The excellent brand of basketball they've been putting on display lately has been terrific. And, of course, Brooklyn, just way behind.
Checking out Brooklyn, they've just confounded their hometown fans. I mean, this was not a team that was supposed to be on the bottom looking up.
Yeah, it's too bad for their fans because I think they felt like this would be a good season, one that they could be excited about and maybe even look to the future for even better times. But this has been a real struggle to this point.
And Clark, he mentioned Bob's time at the Air Force Academy. That's where he got his start in the coaching ranks.
Yeah, 6 years as an assistant there. He was head coach at Pomona, an assistant coach with both the Warriors and the Spurs, and eventually moved into the front office in San Antonio. But wow, what an amazing run it's been for him. 17 years as the head coach of the Spurs.
There's 45 seconds left now here in the second. Ginobili attacking. Gets it to go.
He's one of the best in the league at that. Even with just a tiny sliver, he always seems to find a way to get it up and in.
And a new group in for the Nets. Mason Plumlee's checked in for Garnett. Karolinko comes in for Paul Pierce. Jason Terry. He's checked in for Joe Johnson. And it's Livingston in for Darren Williams. I like that they're taking it inside and taking advantage of each opportunity, Clark, to chip away at the deficit.
Yeah, and doing it with the dunk is a major energizer, too. Gets the momentum going.
Yeah, and I think the interior defense, as good a job offensively as we saw, the defensive presence was almost non-existent. They may see this league disappear if they continue to give up those easy points.
You know, he's not somebody they lean on for points, but when he does score, that's a bonus.
The shot by Terry. Another one falls for Brooklyn. Here's Ginobili. 11 points in the game. He dishes it to Diaw. And the layup is good. Diaw's got 5 points now in the quarter. And so that brings the first half to a close. It's San Antonio. They lead by 12. And coming up after the break, it'll be Damon Bruce breaking down all the highlights from the first half of play.
Now, presented by Sprint. Great to have you with us this Thursday night of NBA action. San Antonio on top against Brooklyn. They're in strong position heading into the playoffs, third in their conference. Manu Ginobili putting on a clinic against Brooklyn. We're at halftime and still he hasn't missed a shot. It's been a pure shooting exhibition. And this dedicated Nets team is weathering the storm. They'd like to forget that first half. Coach has not been happy with what he's seen out there, and they'll likely come out with major adjustments. Deron Williams playing great through 2 quarters. At the break, 11 points, and is also sharing the ball, picking up assists as well. And let's check out what else is happening around the NBA. Out at Oracle Arena, the Warriors with the lead against the Bulls. Third quarter out there, but it's not a close one. And that's all we have for you here in the studio. Now let's send it on back to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke for the second half of play. The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Welcome back, everybody. Third quarter just about to get going here in what has been so far a runaway game.
What a game for Ginobili. He has 11 points and 2 rejections. This is some performance we're witnessing out of him.
This is a night to remember for sure, guys.
On the perimeter, the all-star trio of Williams, Johnson, and Pierce. Garnett out there clutch, so that's the Nets 5. And counts, the shot is good. He'll go to the free throw line.
Boy, big man with very soft hands and a nice touch around the hoop.
Well, you know, it's still exciting to come here to the Barclays Center, this beautiful new arena, and we really like the fact that it's built to showcase basketball. Terrific sight lines, everything the fans could ask for.
Great job taking it right at the defense. I like the aggressiveness.
Yeah, he left them no choice but to foul there.
You talk about the allure of the new arena, Steve. Even when teams are staying in the same city so often, a push is there for a new arena.
Yeah, that's the reality of the business. It's all about entertainment. It's about being cool. It's about kind of the brand. And I think that's where Brooklyn really made that huge jump last year. It was just the uniforms and the arena and the fan base and being in Brooklyn. It all came together, and now it feels like a world-class organization.
Right side, Pierce. Back to Williams. From past the arc. And good on the basket. Crooked. Williams has got 14.
Yeah, he's a bomber. I mean, that's what I love about him. He's as good a three-point shooter as you'll see. Of course, has the green light to let it fly anytime he wants.
But, Steve, we've got to give him credit for his skill as a distributor, too. I mean, he has a great feel for his teammates, and that leads to a lot of his assists and a lot of easy baskets for his team. And look now at the last month for the Nets. How do they stack up in the league statistically over that time frame? 5th in steals, 9th in three-point field goal percentage. And they're in the top 10 in fewest turnovers per game. And they really do emphasize taking care of the ball.
The key really to me at all those numbers, Clark, is the steals, because that's become their identity defensively. They're a real ball-hawking team. They like to get out, put pressure on the offense, force mistakes, and when they do that, they're tough to stop in transition.
A feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. Williams has got 16 points.
I think they've got to keep getting him the ball. When he's going like that, he's in the zone right now. Perfect from the field. You've got to continue to milk the hot hand.
It's been an interesting few years for Deron Williams and a lot of controversy involving his coaches. So Williams looking for stability and also I think looking for maybe an improved reputation as this season unfolds.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. Boris Diaw's checked in for splitting. Jackson comes in for Kawhi Leonard. And it's Green in for Manu Ginobili. And now around 2 minutes gone by in this half. Terry, good on the shot, and that shaves the lead to single digits. Terry's got his third basket of the night right there. Going back to Williams-Clark and the coaching change, do you think he had a hand in that or not? It's so hard to speculate.
It really is, Kevin. I agree with you there. I think it's overblown, quite honestly. You have to remember, playing in the Big Apple, the storylines will abound, true or not, and they sometimes can take on a life of their own.
Well, the same thing happened in Utah now, too, under him.
Yeah, well, again, I think some of that, there may have been a little bit to it, but again, I think overblown is the best way to look at it.
A different look now for San Antonio. Splitters checked in for Diao. And Tracy McGrady subbed in for Patrick Mills. Evans goes in, and it's rejected. Duncan kicks to Jackson. Here's Evans, and he jams it with authority.
Example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
And it feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
Back to Duncan. Fires for three. Good. Duncan's got 7 points here in this quarter.
A large part of what they've been able to do here is centered around his offense.
Here is Livingston. McGrady covering. It's Kirilenko on the wing. And it's good. Assisting on the play was Livingston. Kirilenko's got 5 points so far.
No confusion defensively.
Yeah, you know what? He sent the D a little message with that three.
And again, it's San Antonio with a three.
Well, I think he shot the ball well, guys, but I don't think he shot it enough. The more shots he gets from here on out, the more they'll stretch out this lead.
Livingston, that's good. San Antonio calls timeout.
They've been very untidy with the ball here. You commit turnovers when you try to do too much or you force it. They need to focus on making the simple play, good passes, and moving the ball around.
So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Here's McGrady, and that one's good. He's got 8.
Good job there recognizing the mismatch and then just going straight up with the shot. He's got a major height advantage.
Williams against McGrady. Johnson kicks to Taranovich. And again, Brooklyn with the triple.
And that's another assist for a team that is putting on a clinic on how to share the ball.
I just love the mentality they've had. If the shot isn't there, they're not forcing anything. They're moving it side to side and working to get a good shot.
Diao takes it into the teeth of the D and converts the layup. Diao's got 13 points.
How about this performance in the face of the injury, playing through a lot of pain out there?
It's Williams with the drive. Smooth as silk on the finger roll.
Well, we've seen that more than a few times. An easy bucket in the lane.
Yeah, the interior defense simply has been lifeless.
Gets the bucket. He's got 10. We got 33 seconds left in the third quarter.
Question is, do they go 2 for 1 here?
Can they get a good shot in time? That's the question.
And that one's good.
He's made the most of his chances, hasn't he? Really needs to continue to work for those good looks.
Steven Jackson on the wing. Pierce covering. McGrady kicks to Diao. Back to McGrady. 6 on the shot clock. And again, it's the Spurs from deep. 6 seconds left here in the third quarter. Here's Williams. Another one falls for Brooklyn.
Well, as for them being behind in this game, you certainly can't put any of it on his shoulders. He's been tremendous offensively.
And as we end the third quarter, a great game. Both teams playing well. Spurs lead by 7. 2K Sports back in a moment here in Brooklyn.
Tune in this Saturday night, February 8th. Marc Gasol and the Memphis Grizzlies take on the Atlanta Hawks. Live from Phillips Arena. Be there.
Hello and thanks for joining us, folks. The fourth quarter of play should begin momentarily. What do you guys think so far about the offensive approach for San Antonio?
Man, they keep piling up the assists, guys. Great ball movement.
Something we've also seen them doing tonight is getting the long ball to go down. Big points from outside.
On the court for San Antonio. In the backcourt, Parker and Ginobili. Leonard and Duncan are the pair at forward. And it's Diaw in at the 5 down low. Here's Parker with the 3. That's good. And the Spurs lead by 8.
Just seems like they've given up far too many points from the three-point shot today. A lot of open looks out there.
I agree, Steve. The defensive rotations have been abysmal.
Here's against Leonard. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker. Parker's got 4 assists now tonight.
Broke out the finger roll, guys. That was kind of a stylish finish.
Johnson from outside, and again, Brooklyn with the triple.
I'll tell you what, he's enjoyed a very good day shooting the ball so far. He can bring them right back into this.
PG, that's good.
And now both of these clubs really in a groove here.
Already a high-scoring game, but it has become an offensive showcase down the stretch.
And out of bounds as Brooklyn gains possession. And a quick look now at how San Antonio's schedule is shaping up. It's off to Charlotte for them after this game as they take on the Bobcats.
I'll be looking forward to seeing how that Detroit game plays out for sure.
Terry kicks to Johnson. Here's Parker. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a three-point play.
I'll tell you what I love about him. His ability to finish even while absorbing contact. He is so strong, even with defenders hanging all over him, he continues to finish at the basket.
And here's another thing about him, Steve. Every time he gets his hands on the ball in the backcourt, he's a one-man fast break.
Deron Williams checked in for the Nets. Just over a minute and a half play here in the fourth. Here's Duncan. And shot, no good.
The defense needs to play tight on him, and that's exactly what they did to force that miss. Well done.
Outside Terry. And again, Brooklyn with the triple.
I'm not sure who was supposed to pick him up, but somebody's going to get an earful from the coach for leaving him that wide open.
Here's Duncan. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker. Parker's got his 5th assist in this one. Nets trail by 6. Terry dishes to Pierce. Just his first attempt. Again, the Nets for 2.
He can finish in the post. That's one thing we know about him.
Here's Parker. Takes the 3. And Pierce is good for 3. Now just a 1-point San Antonio lead.
The defense got butterflies the second that shot went up because they know he typically delivers in the clutch.
And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Guys, thank you. I got a chance to hear what Greg Popovich was saying to his team. His message, don't even look at the score right now. We've got to make one play at a time and execute. That's how we'll take this thing home. Kevin, he's trying to keep him focused.
Inside, Leonard attacking, and the rejection by Bosch. Johnson against Ginobili. Johnson kicks to Williams. And the Nets, another 3.
What a beautiful assist. That's a couple of teammates clearly on the same page.
Backing him down is Duncan. Count it, and the foul. It's on Kevin Garnett.
I really thought they did a better job, a much better job of getting it inside in the first half. They got to get back to throwing it in the paint more here in the second.
That was critical, guys. Absolutely critical. So that's what we're used to seeing out of him.
1:46 left in the game. And the whistle blows on the backcourt violation. He went over and back. Knocked loose and stolen by Deron Williams. Johnson gets the bucket.
Gotta love the use of the bounce pass there. Perfect feed.
San Antonio's gotten off to a great start from three-point range in the final quarter. They're a perfect 3 of 3. Ginobili gets the bucket.
Right now, the defense needs to do a better job of closing out on this guy. He's heating up from outside.
It's Williams with the drive. Rejected by Ginobili. Leonard against Williams. That's going to be over at that. Not watching for the line that time.
He went a decent amount of time before his first turnover there. It's really been a good, safe stretch of basketball from him to this point.
Got it. Good job in the low post. Williams has got 16 points here in the second half. And that bucket ignites the crowd.
Crucial bucket there, and you hear it in their reaction.
And you can feel the energy throughout this building right now. What a huge shot.
Here's Duncan. Battles through traffic and lays it in. And the Spurs lead by 5. Brooklyn's gotten in the groove from three-point range. They are 4 for 4 since the third quarter ended. And stolen by Aaron Williams. And shot on the way. Nails it. What a beautiful shot to bring him to within 3.
Fantastic pass. He turned that one into a pretty easy basket for his teammate.
Guys, they're not going to be in any rush on this possession.
Now with the lead, I mean, now's the time to use the clock to your advantage. Take your time. Milk the clock a little bit.
Parker, he's guarded by Williams. 6 to shoot. Parker gets to Ginobili. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker.
Got to make a defensive adjustment here because he's just destroying them from three-point range.
Well, even when they've closed out on him, Steve, he's knocking them down.
And out of bounds as San Antonio gains possession.
Way too loose on that inbounds pass.
27 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one, and he commits the intentional foul. First free throw is good, and that makes it a 7-point lead. And so he drops them both. It's an 8-point game. And Court, maybe at this point, not much of a chance for a comeback.
I don't think it's going to happen, partner.
Yeah, pretty unlikely to dig out of this hole, but you can't think that way. You got to just play it possession by possession.
19 seconds left to play here in the fourth. A free ball. Money! Oh, and that puts the lead to just 5. San Antonio calls timeout. They're leading by 5. We've got 13 seconds left to play in the final quarter. And now we've got the intentional foul. So the first one drops, and that increases their lead to 6. And so both free throws are good, and it's a 7-point game.
And no mistakes there. A couple of good free throws to give them a little extra cushion.
Johnson outside. Fires the 3. No good. And so it's San Antonio with the win. They came, they saw, they conquered.
Hey, Kevin, to me, any win is a good win.
Well, that'll do it. For Dorisburg, Steve Curry, Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long. We'll see you next time. And as we leave, we give you our Jordan Player of the Game, Tim Duncan.
Close game here in Brooklyn, down to the finish here. The black team, as the Spurs beat the Nets by 7 points. 109 to 102. You see Tyson Chandler, Kenneth Farid. Oh, Jordan Hamilton is out for 46 weeks again due to the broken finger. DeMar DeRozan now healed now. Francisco Garcia, Corey Joseph will be fine today. Goran Dragic. Oh no! No injury. Marcin Gortat got out for 46 weeks due to the broken hand. And Nene will be healed. As you can see, there are now 3-point participations for 3-pointers. We got Jason Richardson, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, OJ Mayo, Nick Young, and James Harden. They received for 3-point participations. Let's see the Raptors right now. Full strength back here. Marcin Gortat out of the lineup for the Phoenix Suns. So, huge win for the Spurs. They defeat the Nets by 7 points. 109 to 102. 27 points and 7 assists for Darren Williams. Tim Duncan got 27 points. Manu Ginobili got 24 points. Huge win for the Nets. Huge win for the Spurs. And they take it win easy to defeat the Brooklyn Nets. Let's check out some upcoming season rotations. That will be Get Back with a re-heal for DeMar DeRozan. Getting returns to the heel, but the heel. I will swap out for Austin Daye to replace, but Rudy Gay is not yet in injuries. That will be fine. Then will be swapped out for DJ Augustine to DeMar DeRozan. That will be fine for DeMar DeRozan will now re-heal in the hands of the in the hands of Tyson Chandler as well. Gonna swap for this one. And then check out the Washington Wizards. Nene is still there now, so that'll be fine. Won a huge game here in Brooklyn as the Spurs beat the Nets by 7. 109 to 102. Let's check out the schedule. On February 7th, we got our first game of the day. We're up the Bankers Life Fieldhouse. We got the Portland Trail Blazers take on the Indiana Pacers. That will be good. Thunder face the Magic. Lakers take on the Sixers. Cavaliers take on the Wizards. Kings take on the Celtics. Nets, Pistons, Nuggets, Knicks, Jazz, Mavericks, Raptors, Clippers, and our conclusion, the second game, it was Timberwolves and the Pelicans. That will be ESPN Friday here in Indianapolis and New Orleans, Louisiana. That will be wrapped up here, and as you can finish up the month of the calendar of the May. June will begin soon. It means the NBA Finals will approach this one. So that'll do it for now. So next game tomorrow night, we're off to Indianapolis, featuring Damian Lillard and LaMarcus Aldridge of the Portland Trail Blazers take on Paul George and Danny Granger of the Indiana Pacers, and followed by the second game on our hand, we're off to New Orleans Arena, also known as Mooney King Center, and for the first time ever, the New Orleans Pelicans will make his NBA 2K14 debut as of Andrei Kenshin, as Kevin Love and Ricky Rubio of the Minnesota Timberwolves take on Anthony Davis and Eric Gordon of the New Orleans Pelicans. That will be a good one here in New Orleans. And that should do it for now. This is Andrei Kenshin as the Spurs beat the Nets by 7, 109 to 102. And that will be tomorrow. But if we see another Pacers game, that will be on the same day. Hopefully Tyrese Halliburton look to close up against Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks, trying to go and make it to the NBA Finals tomorrow night. And that's to do it for now. This is Andrei Kenshin once again as the San Antonio Spurs beat the Brooklyn Nets by 7, 109 to 102. This is Andrei Kenshin say so long from Barclays Center in Brooklyn. We'll see you tomorrow here at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis for the first game between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Indiana Pacers, followed by the second game here in the Smoothie King Center for the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New Orleans Pelicans. Sign up and peace out. Good night, and we're now a reminder, we'll see you tomorrow here at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse for the first game between the Blazers and the Pacers, and followed by the second game here in the Smoothie King Center between the Timberwolves and the Pelicans. Sign up and peace out. Good night and thanks for watching. We'll see you for another tomorrow night for the doubleheader here on NBA 2K14 to start up the month in June. Sign up and peace out. Good night and we'll see you tomorrow to start up the month in June. Thanks for watching and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night and thanks for watching.